Okay, so 30 minutes was a bit optimistic. We've still got loads to do, but we'll carry on. So calculating compound measures. So compound measures are is this triangle. So whenever we see a question and it's mentioning distance, speed, and time. So here we've got distance here, we've got some speed, miles per hour, and how long, that's our distance, speed, time. So we have to use our triangle. Distance on the top, speed, and time on the bottom. So distance, speed, and time. We're looking for how long should the journey take. Okay, so that means we're working with time. So time is distance divided by speed. Okay, so we've got the journey. The journey is 80 miles in total. 20 miles of the journey is through roadworks, and for that 20 miles, we're going to be going 40 miles an hour. The rest of the journey is going to be an average speed of 50 miles an hour. So I've got two things to work out here. Her time through the roadworks and her time through the rest of the journey. So let's do the 20 miles first. So 20 miles, that's our distance, and we're going to divide that by the speed she's going, which is 40 miles an hour. 20 divided by 40, well, there's no 40s in 20, so that's going to be 0.5. Okay, if you want to do that using your bus stop, just to double check, 40 on the outside, 20 on the inside. There's no 40s in 20, so 0 point. Add an extra 0 on here to make it 200. 40 into 200, 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. Okay, that gives us 0.5. But we're talking about time here. So 0.5, remember, if we can refer back to our fractions, is a half. And half an hour is 30 minutes. Okay, so the roadworks part is going to take 30 minutes. The second part of the journey is 50 miles an hour. And because the whole journey is 80, the rest of it, if she's done 20 miles an hour, 20 miles in roadworks, she's 60 miles left. And we divide that by 50. Okay, so 60 divided by 50. Let's do our bus stop again. So 50 there, 60 there. 50s into 60, that goes once. Okay, but it's got 10 remainder. So let's squeeze that 10 in there to make that 100. 50s into 100 goes 2. So we've got 1.2 hours. Okay, that's not 1 hour 20 minutes. So be very careful. You can use the time button. If you're on the calculator part of your exam, you can use this time button here. Put 1.2 into the calculator, press the time button, or press equals, then the time button, and it will turn it into a time for you. However, if you're doing it without a calculator, we know it's going to be 1 hour. To convert a decimal, so 0.2, I'm separating the 1 and the 0.2. To make that into time, you multiply by 60. Okay, obviously 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. Again, like we did before, right at the beginning, when you multiply and you've got a 0 at the front and 0 at the end, they can cancel each other out. So 6 times 2 is 12. So 1 hour, 12 minutes. Okay, so overall, we add our 30 minutes and our 1 hour, 12 minutes, and the total journey is going to be 1 hour and 42 minutes. Oops. Okay, that says mins. M-I-N-S there. Okay, calculating dimensions from scale drawing. So here we've got a scale drawing, and it's saying the scale is 1 to 22, 12,000, 1,250. So here's this is in millimeters, this is in millimeters. So this is saying the real plot, for every 1 millimeter, it's 1,250 millimeters. Okay, so area, remember, is length times width. So this 16, to work out this length, I'm going to do 16 times 1,250. And I'm going to do, for this length, 66 times 1,250. Okay, quickly do that on a calculator. That's 20,000. And this is 82,500. Okay, now this is in what the lengths actually are. So still in millimeters. To work out the area, we're going to multiply these together. So we're going to do 20,000 times by 82500. That gives me 165,000,000,000 millimeters. Okay, I'm pretty sure this question isn't asking for an answer in millimeters, but we'll leave it there because I don't know what it's asking for. I've cut that part off. Could be meters, but that's the method, and then you have to convert it at the end. Okay, right, drawing a scale diagram given actual measurements. So here we've got, through the question, we've got a kitchen designer. He needs to create this plan, which isn't drawn to scale, on our scale diagram here. Each of these is in millimeters, but the diagram is in centimeters. So the first thing we need to do with each of these numbers is turn them into centimeters. Remember, 10 millimeters is the same as 1 centimeter. So we'll turn these by dividing by 10 into centimeters. 30 centimeters, 50 centimeters, 75 centimeters, 30 centimeters, 50 centimeters, and 50 centimeters. Okay, it's telling us that this length from here to here is 25, so that's 25 centimeters, that gap there. So we need to take that into account when we're drawing our diagram. The cupboards need to start 50 centimeters from the bottom, so each of these is 25, so we've got 25, 50, so our cabinets have to start here. Our first cabinet, we've got a long one, so that's 50 across, so that's going to be 2 of the big squares across, and then 75, that means it's going to be 3 up. That's your first one. Your next one, you're going to have, so we've got 3 small ones in a row, so starting up 25, or starting from the top, they're all lined up at the top. Make sure you do draw this line across, don't go all the way to the top, these got to be stop at the top. So the next one you've got is 50 centimeters across, so that's 2 boxes, 50 centimeters down, that's 2 boxes there. The next one, same again, 2 by 2, 50 by 50. The third one's the same, 50 by 50. And your last one, starting from the top, we've got a long one at the end, so 50 across by 75. So we come down, then go across. So there is our diagram accurately drawn using the scale. Always look for this part here. The scale is really important when you're doing any of these sort of drawing on this sort of paper, scale diagrams. Okay, look for the scale. That really unlocks the question. If you miss that part, it's going to be a bit tricky for you to do. So make sure you read the question very carefully and look for that scale. Okay. The perimeter and areas of triangles. So for a triangle, the perimeter, if this is 60 and 60, this is an equilateral triangle, which means this is also 60, which means all the sides are the same also. It's an equilateral triangle, so 24, 24, 24. So 24 times 3, or if you're not too good at that, 24, 24, 24. Add them together, 4, 8, 12. Write the 2, carry the 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. 72 millimeters. The perimeter, remember, is distance all on the outside. Calculate the perimeters and area of the circle. So this is something that you really need to know. This is something you have to take in with you. The formula for finding the area of a circle, is pi, which is 3.14, times by the radius squared. Okay, that's what you have to remember. This is not going to be in the exam. You actually have to take this in with you. You have to learn this, remember it. So pi is 3.14 times by the radius squared. Remember, squared means multiplied by itself. Okay, another key word in this is approximation. Okay, remember, whenever we see approximation, it means to round. So we've got 3.92 as our radius, so we can round that to 4. So the calculation we're doing is 3.14, again, we can round that because it's approximation. So it's 3 times 4 squared. Okay, squared is squared. 3 times 4 squared. 4 squared, 16. 3 times 16. Okay, so there's a couple of pitfalls here. If you don't know how to square, you're doubling, you're going to get that one wrong. Okay, remember, square means multiply by itself. So it's not that one. It's not that one. 3 times 16, here we go, it's that one. Okay. The perimeter and area of compound shapes. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. The area of a triangle, length times width, divided by 2. Okay, that's something you're going to have to take in with you as well. You need to remember these two. So the area of the rectangle, when we find a compound shape, a compound means two shapes stuck together basically. So we've got, split them up. This one, the area of the rectangle, 8 times 2.5, which is 20. And the area of the triangle, length times width, so that's the length. The width isn't the diagonal, it's the distance all the way up. Okay, or the height, you can call that the height if you like for a triangle, base times height. So that is going to be, it's 8 all the way along. We've used 2 up there. We've used 2 up there. So this is going to be 4. And the height, or the width, is going to be 3. So here, it's 4 times 3 divided by 2. 4 times 3, 12, divided by 2 is 6. So the area of the triangle is 6. The area of the rectangle is 20. So the area of the compound shape is 26 centimeters squared. Okay, using formula to find the volume of 3D shapes. Again, this is coming back to what we did earlier. So remember, if I was rewriting this formula, so we've got a hemisphere and a cylinder. If I was rewriting this formula, I've got 2/3 times pi times radius cubed. Okay, that's for the hemisphere. Okay, 2/3 pi times radius. So remember, between each of these, we've got that times. Okay, so if I can work this out into my calculator, press my fraction button, 2/3, then times. So fraction button, 2/3 times pi is telling us here 3.14 times the radius. Remember, the radius is from the middle to the outside, so times 3 cubed. Okay, there's a cube button on your calculator as well. Times 3.14 times 3 cubed, which gives me 56.52. Even if you left this question here, you're going to have picked up some marks. So remember, we're not trying to get all the marks for everything. We only need 33 out of 60. So if you can get just that first part, think, fine, I've got it, move on, come back to it if you get time. So we need to find both parts. So we need the cylinder as well. This is something, again, this formula is the other one you need to take with you. The volume of a cylinder, luckily it ties into the last one. The volume of a cylinder is pi, familiar, times radius squared. So this part is exactly the same as the area of a circle, times by the height. Okay, so here, the height it's telling us is 5 centimeters. So we're going to do pi, 3.14, times the radius, we've already worked that out, that's 3, squared, times by the height, which is 5. So we just pop that all into your calculator, 3.14 times 3 squared times 5. And that gives us 141.3. To get the resin for both parts, we're just going to add these together. 141.3 plus 56.52. That gives us 197.82. What are we talking about here? That's our answer there. Grams? Perhaps. Okay. Positive and negative coordinates. So the coordinates of the star. We go along the corridor first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go down. -1, -2, -3. So 5 minus 3. Common 2D representation. So this is different views. So if you're looking, so different views. So it's saying what is the side elevation? That means the side view. So you're looking at it from this side. This is you. You're looking at it, and all you're going to see, you can only see what's directly in front of you. You can't see over. You're only tiny. You can't see under. You can't see around the side. You can only see what's directly in front of you. So here, we'll be able to see this. We'll be able to see this. And we'll be able to see this part underneath here. Okay. So we'll be able to see basically 3 horizontal rectangles, which is C. Again, plans and elevations. Which one of the above shows the elevation of the left side of the building? So again, you're looking from the, you're looking from the left. So all you're going to see is the wall in front of you and the roof going straight up. So that, again, that's C. Whenever you're talking about elevations, whenever you see that word elevation, it should not look 3D at all. So that looks a bit 3D, so that's wrong. That looks a bit 3D. All of your plans and elevations will always be a 2D shape. There won't be any 3D about it. Okay, so if it's looking a bit 3D in the answers, you know it's not going to be one of those. So it's either B or C straight away. And because we're looking from the left, we're going to see the side of the wall, the opposite side of this, which is that, and then the opposite side of this, which is that. It depends. Even if you're looking from the right, you'd still see just C. Okay. Angles in full turn. So angles in a full turn add to 360. Angles in a half turn are 180. So we know that this has all got about up to 360. This square is a right angle. It's 90 degrees. So we add all these together, 25, 105, and 90. So 25 plus 105 plus 90. Let's do it like this. Makes more sense. 5 and 5 is 10. Write the 0, carry the 1. 2 and 9 is 11. 12. Write the 2, carry the 1. 1 and 1 is 2. So these 3 together make 220. And then we're going to take 220 from 360, which is going to leave us with 140 degrees. Okay, finding the mean. So whenever you see the word mean, it sometimes means the average. So these two words are interchangeable, the mean and the average. So we've got all this information here. Whenever we're finding the mean, what we have to do, add all our numbers up and divide by how many there are. So we're going to add all these up. So 14 plus 12 plus 11 plus 8 plus 12 plus 0 plus 15 plus 6 plus 11 plus 3 plus 10 plus 7 plus 0 plus 5 plus 8 plus 10 plus 15 plus 16 plus 14 plus 3. And that gives me 180. And I'm going to divide that by how many numbers there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 180 divided by 20 is going to give us 9. Okay, so before the changes, the average, okay, it says average here, but we mean the mean. Okay, so if you see the word average by itself, that means the mean. So before the changes, the average was 9 days. After the change, we added all these up. So 12 plus 0 plus 2 plus 11 plus 3 plus 7 plus 14 plus 10 plus 10 plus 3 plus 8 plus 9 plus 8 plus 4 plus 4. That gives us 105. We divide that by how many numbers there are. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That gives us 7. So before the changes, the average was 9. After the changes, the average was 7. So the calculations, these are our calculations. And we can see that the changes have made a difference because now the average is lower. Average number of days taken off is lower. Okay. The range, often also called the variation. So if you see this word variation, that means the range. And the range is the biggest. Take smallest. So your biggest number here, if you look at them, they're all negative numbers, so be careful. Biggest number here is minus 7. Okay. And your smallest is minus 32. So you can You've got double negatives here, minus 32. Okay, remember when you have two negatives in the middle, minus minus, that becomes a plus. So minus 7 plus 32 is 25. Okay, be careful with that one. The median is you put the numbers in order and you find the middle. So put the numbers in order and find the middle. So I've got to write these numbers out in order, smallest to biggest. So 15.5, 16. So take this off a go. 18.5, 20, 22, and 23, 23, 23. Oops. And then 36. And then I just cross off from each end until I get to the middle. So one from this end, 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 and so on. So our median is 22. If you have two numbers in the middle, so say we have 22 and 23, you're going to add those together and divide them by 2. Okay, and that will give you your median if you have two numbers in the middle. Okay, we haven't, so we don't have to worry about that today. But if you did, that's how you find the median. If you've got two numbers in the middle, add them together, divided by 2. So the question is saying, tick all the employees who are paid less than the median salary. So that's AJ, that's MT, that's RD, and that's JR. Okay, you don't, it says less than, so we don't include 22. Okay, if you see less than, you don't include that value. Okay, the mode or the modal, okay, two words meaning the same thing, the most common number. So just look through the numbers, see which number appears the most. Oops. So you've got 25.5, 25.5, 25.5. So this one here, we've got 5 times. So the modal weight is 25.5. Okay, don't write 5. It's not how many there are, it's the value that there is. So it's 25.5. Okay. The mean of a group on a group table. So if you look at this, as soon as you see this image, you know you are doing mean from a group table. You don't have to read the question. You should know how to do this. So it's 4 steps: M, M, A, and D. M is for middle. Okay, so you find the middle of these two numbers. Between 63 and 65, 64. Between 65 and 67, 66. Between 67 and 69, 68. 69 and 71, 70, 71 and 73, 72. So that's the middle. Then you multiply. You multiply these two numbers together. So 64 times 22 gives us 1408. Then 65 times 27. 1755. 67 times 69. Oh, no, sorry. 67 times 26. No, sorry. 68 times 26. Now I'm doubting the other ones I did right as well. Oh well. 1768. Your next one, 70 times 15. 1050. And your last one, 72 times 10, which is 720. So that's the multiply. Then you're going to add. So you've got to find the total of all of these and the total of all of these. So I'm going to add these up. 1408 plus 1755. This is wrong. I've done this one wrong. This one is 1782. Apologies. Okay, so I'll start again. 1408 plus 1782 plus 1768 plus 1050 plus 720, which gives me a total of 5728. Even if I had made that mistake in the exam, if I'd made one mistake there, you just lose 1 mark for accuracy. okay, you still would get the rest. If you carried on, even oblivious of that mistake, you'd still probably get all the marks but 1. Okay, now I need to find the total of these. So 22 plus 27 plus 26 plus 15 plus 10, which is 100. The last step is divide. You divide the big number, 5728, divided by 100, gives me 57. So 5728 divided by 100 gives me 57.28. This is worth 4 marks or 5 marks in the exam. So then we make our, which supplier should he buy and use? He's going to use supplier B, because if you look at the weight of the eggs from there, they're 66.5, and from